Today's video, I want to talk some news on the Final Fantasy VII Remake. There's been some talk on whether or not this is actually going to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive. I have a little bit of insight for you guys on that, so we'll take a look at that. Also, on the PlayStation 4, an open-world farming adventure title in Stranded Sails Explorer of the Cursed Islands is coming, and it'll be arriving later this year. It looks like a pretty interesting title, so I wanted to give that some attention. Unfortunately, a game that won't be arriving this year, that's Psychonauts 2. Double Fine Production has officially delayed Psychonauts 2 to 2020 from its previously planned 2019. I think many of us were already expecting this delay to come. However, it's still unfortunate news, but nonetheless, I do want to take a look at what they said about that. And lastly, we will be getting some Persona 5 Royal info very soon, and we've also got some details about the game, so we'll highlight that. Alright, first up, the Final Fantasy VII Remake. There was some talk on whether or not this will be arriving to the Xbox One alongside the PlayStation 4 at launch, and Square Enix has clarified whether or not this will be a PS4 exclusive at launch. They noted, as previously announced, Final Fantasy VII Remake will be released for the PlayStation 4 on March 3rd, 2020. We have no plans for other platforms. Now, if you go back to when the Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced, that's going back all the way to 2015. Yes, it has been that long. Typical Square Enix fashion in how they announce a game way ahead of the game actually being ready to be released, but nonetheless, it was announced in the trailer that it would be coming first to PlayStation 4, and now it specifically said it would be coming first to PlayStation 4. You're kidding yourself if you're thinking that this is gonna be a long-time PS4 exclusive. I'm sure Sony and Square Enix worked out some sort of deal to make it so that the PlayStation 4 would get it as a timed exclusive, because at the end of the day, this game being released on all platforms, that's how Square Enix is gonna make as much money as possible. Really, they probably got a lot of money upfront from Sony, then they're gonna release the game after a certain period of time on other platforms, and then they're gonna make a ton more money. So for them, it's probably the best case scenario, and especially for them, this being the best case scenario is also the fact that this is gonna be released in multiple parts. So not only are they gonna get this upfront money from Sony, not only are they gonna be able to re-release this game on other platforms sometime down the line if they so see fit, but they can also release the multiple parts on every platform. Then at the end of it all, they can release some sort of complete edition. Square Enix really thought this one out, and honestly, I'm a little bit impressed with how crafty they're being. The Final Fantasy VII Remake is a surefire success. Like, this is gonna be a game that's gonna sell millions upon millions of copies, even if the sales kind of diminish from game after game. Let's say the first game sells a lifetime of 10 million units, the second game sells a lifetime of 7 million, and then the third game sells a lifetime of 6 million units. I just pulled those numbers completely out of thin air, but you guys get what I'm saying. Even if it sold 10, 7, 6 million, that is still an insane amount of units to sell, and it'll probably do a little bit better than that when you look at lifetime sales across all platforms. Square Enix is going to make an absolute killing off of this game as long as it's a quality product. I mean, if it's an absolute train wreck and they completely do Final Fantasy VII a disservice, which I don't think is really possible, but nonetheless, the writing is on the wall for this to be an absolute financial success for Square Enix, and you can kind of see all the pieces coming together. But for now, as far as the March 3rd, 2020 release goes, it looks like it will be coming to PlayStation 4 only, and I imagine some point down the line, it will be arriving to other platforms, whether it be the Xbox One, PC. I highly doubt they could get this game working on the Nintendo Switch, but hell, they got The Witcher 3 ported to the Nintendo Switch, so at this point, I'm really not gonna question anything. Alright, moving on from that, we've got a brand new open world title coming to the PlayStation 4 in Stranded Sails Explorers of the Cursed Island. Now, this is a farming adventure game, and it was originally scheduled for a PC release digitally in October, but publishers Merge Games and Rocket Publish and developer Lemon Bob Entertainment announced the PlayStation 4 and Switch versions will also be available in a collectible signature edition day and date with the digital release. Having generated an exciting level of momentum as one of the year's most wanted games on Steam with over 75,000 wish lists already, Stranded Sails Explorers of the Cursed Islands is a highly anticipated open-world exploration farming adventure which merges a wealth of discovery alongside compelling exploration gameplay. Shipwrecked on a mysterious archipelago, it's up to you to survive and solve the island's mysteries and find a way to escape. From finding resources and planting crops to establishing your own farm to feed all survivors in your camp, Stranded Sails fuses addictive survival mechanics alongside a far-reaching journey which has you undertaking a vast adventure spanning numerous islands where an abundance of treasure lies waiting. Taking inspiration from the Harvest Moon Story of Season series, The Legend of Zelda, and recent offerings such as My Time at Portia, Stranded Sails brings its own signature style of tilt-shift visuals, survival elements, exploration, and story-driven quests which complement the theme of being shipwrecked and the need to save all of your shipmates. The game's key features touts experience an open-world adventure full of quests and discovery, farm and cook to survive, provide food for your crew, and improve their level of happiness while experimenting with different ingredients to discover new dishes. Manage the creation and expansion of your crew's camp and prove your skills as a shipbuilder. Explore a diverse array of different islands by foot or boat on your travels to find a range of tools and treasure. Fight against supernatural dangers and solve the secrets of the Cursed Islands. Again, the game will be coming sometime in October. We don't have a specific release date, but I don't see a lot of people talking about the game, and I think visually it looks pretty good. Again, harkening back to a game like The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Definitely get that visual vibe from the game, but it could end up being one of the more surprising games of this fall, although being released in the fall, it is going to have to contend with a lot of other major game releases, so we'll see how this one turns out, but we'll keep you guys posted as far as any more developments regarding the game. Alright, moving on from that, Psychonauts 2 is unfortunately a game that won't make its 2019 release window. I don't think many of us were expecting this to actually stick. Double Fine generally has a track record of sometimes delaying their games, and with a game like Psychonauts 2, I really didn't expect it to be released in 2019, but here's what Double Fine said about the delay. As you just saw, E3 kicked off with us sneaking into Microsoft's press briefing to adorn Phil Spencer in a Psychonauts shirt. We then snuck past Keanu to announce that we would be joining Xbox Game Studios, and that Psychonauts 2 would be published by Microsoft instead of Starbreeze as a first-party title. Now, before anyone panics, we have already confirmed that we will be able to honor Psychonauts 2 for every platform that we have already promised here, and that includes bringing the game to PlayStation 4. There really shouldn't be too many other noticeable changes for you all, at least not for a while, with one notable exception. We're now targeting next year for release. We know it's always disappointing when you have to wait a bit longer, but we also know that you are an amazing supportive bunch who, just like us, want the game to be as good as possible, so we're hopeful you'll understand. In the case of a game like this, Psychonauts 2 really needs to take its time and develop into the best game it possibly can be, because this is a return of a franchise that, yes, some people do know about. It's garnered a cult following over the years, but this is a franchise that's coming off from a long hiatus, and it is paramount that Double Fine delivers with a quality product with Psychonauts 2, and for the game to be delayed until 2020, I don't think that's too big of a deal. I imagine it would be early 2020, but you really never know. Sometimes games are delayed from 1 year window to the next year window, and it's not early into the next year, it's rather later into the next year. We saw that with Code Vein, where it was literally scheduled for September of 2018, and then it was delayed all the way until September of 2019. With game delays, you sometimes really can't predict any of this. And even the case with a game like Batman Arkham Knight. You guys remember when that game was announced back in like 2014? It was scheduled to be released in the fall, and then it was delayed for like 9 months, 4 months before it was ready to be released. Just crazy stuff with game delays. Sometimes I wonder, do these publishers and developers even intend for a game to be released in the window that they give us? But nonetheless, with Psychonauts 2, it will be arriving sometime in 2020. And lastly, we are going to be getting more Persona 5 Royal information later today. Atlus announced the next episode of Morgana's Report will be streamed on July 11th. That is today, and there are plenty of things that were revealed about Persona 5 Royal but still undetailed, like the Velvet Room's new fusion alarm function, so elements like that might be focused in on during the stream. There was already 2 episodes, episode 1 and episode 2, and those gave us an insight of what to expect out of Persona 5 Royal. Atlus also revealed that there's an actual story reason behind one of Persona 5 Royal's biggest changes in gameplay, how guns will get their bullets back after each battle. They put out a tweet that's in Japanese, but nonetheless, looks like every specific thing that they're doing with the game does have its own reason for being implemented. And in the video itself, the dialogue has Morgana explaining to Joker and Ryuji how guns are effective because they look real. Seeing the palaces are in a cognitive world, if the enemies think that the guns are real and can get hurt by these guns, they will. So far, this is what was explained in the original Persona 5 as well. However, the dialogue then changes compared to the original version. Morgana explains how most enemies would expect Joker to have reloaded his gun beforehand if he decides to whip it out in battle. Because of the enemy's cognition affecting the cognitive world too, Joker and his friends get their bullets back after each battle, because at the end of the day, they're not real bullets, it's all just cognitive, but if they appear real, they can do damage in these World of the Palaces. Kind of complicated to understand, but I think you guys can follow along, especially if you did play Persona 5. Thanks to DualShockers for that insight, and we'll leave a link with more information in the description box below. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, at this point, it looks like the March 3rd, 2020 release of Final Fantasy VII Remake will be PlayStation 4 only. I imagine that it'll be arriving to other platforms later. I mean, Square Enix is just leaving leaving money on the table if they don't, unless Sony somehow strikes up a major deal and they give them all this money and they're like, hey, make Final Fantasy VII Remake exclusive forever, but I really don't think that's gonna happen. The open world farming adventure Stranded Sails Explorers of the Cursed Islands will be coming to PlayStation 4 in October. Looks pretty good. Got a lot of vibes of a game like The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, so that's shaping up nicely. Psychonauts 2 is not coming in 2019 anymore. The Microsoft published title will be coming in 2020, but it'll still be arriving to the PlayStation 4, and more Persona 5 Royal information will be coming very soon. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.